Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Welcome to another session of your social science children. We have been already seeing about the creation of empire in our history lesson, right? So, in that we have been seeing about the various Mughal rulers, yes? So, first king of this Mughal empire was, yes, Babur was the first king. So, we have seen about him, and then we have seen about Humayun, and then came Sher Shah, and finally Humayun returned back. Till that we have completed in our previous session. So, today we are going to see more about Akbar. Akbar is the son of Humayun. Okay? So, before going on to Akbar, we will just have a quick look on the previous timeline which we have seen earlier, right? Yes. So, in 1504, Babur first came to Kabul, yes, then in 1526 he came to India, and Delhi Sultanate came to an end in the first battle of Panipat, and Mughal empire was established, and then in 1527 battle of Kanwa, 1529 battle of Gagra, 1530 Babur died. And after that what happened? Humayun took over the Mughal empire. So, in that you can see the battle of Chauza, battle of Kannauj. Both the battles Humayun lost. So, because of that what happened? Sher Shah took over the control. So, Sher Shah again he died in 1545. After that a very big confusion was there, and using that confused situation, Humayun came back and he started ruling the empire in 1555 CE. Till 1556 he was there, and 1556 he passed away. So, after his death, after Humayun's death only, his son, his eldest son, okay, Humayun's eldest son was Akbar, and he came to power. So, we are going to see about Akbar and what are all the measures taken by Akbar, how was the rule, how was the empire, how was the country during the rule of Akbar, we are going to see in this session. So, he was the eldest son of Humayun, and he was crowned to empire when he was just 13 years of old after the sudden death of Humayun. So, we have seen that Humayun died just by slipping down from the stairs of his library, right. So, when he was 13 years, Akbar was 13 years, he was crowned to be the empire, and he was guided by his tutor Bayram Khan. Okay? So, his tutor was Bayram Khan, and he helped Akbar in ruling the empire. So, in 1556, okay, so the Mughal army under Akbar defeated the Afghan ruler Adil Shah, okay, in the second battle of Panipat. So, what happened now in 1556 CE, Akbar came to rule, and in the same time the second battle of Panipat came. In that, Adil Shah, the Afghan ruler, was defeated by Akbar. So, shall we add this to our timeline, children? So, in 1556, second battle of Panipat. And now Akbar was on rule. Okay. So, now Akbar is ruling over the empire. So, after this second battle of Panipat, there came again. So, their control expanded across the country. Okay? So, the Mughal empire's control expanded to many places in the country like Agra, Delhi, Ajmer and Gwalior. So, when it was fully focused on one particular place, after this fight, after the second battle of Panipat, the empire expanded to various regions like Agra, Delhi, Ajmer and Gwalior. So, and now going more about Akbar, okay. So, he was very shrewd and ambitious conqueror. What is meant by shrewd? Shrewd means brilliant, very sharp. Brilliant or sharp. So, Akbar was a very brilliant and a sharp ruler, and soon after he became an emperor, he again attacked Malwa in 1561 and then Gondwana in 1564. So, Akbar attacked Malwa in 1561 and then he attacked Gondwana in 1564. And in 1568 he conquered Chittor, the capital of Mewar. So, see, in an order, he was a very successful ruler, right? So, he attacked many places, he expanded his empire very quickly. So, in 1561 he attacked Malwa, 64 he attacked Gondwana, and in 1568 he attacked Mewar, that is Chittor, the capital of Mewar. So, I am adding this 1561, yes? Yeah, in 1561 he attacked Malwa. Then 1564 he attacked Gondwana, right? And what happened in 1568? He attacked Chittor, the capital of Mewar. So, like this, Akbar quickly expanded the Mughal empire to various regions across the country, right? So, after he conquered Chittor, right? So, yeah. So, after he conquered Chittor, the ruler, that is when he got control over this Mewar, okay. In 1561 he fought against Mewar, just now I told you. So, the Uday Singh was the ruler then, he was a Rajput king, okay. So, he was the ruler of Mewar and he was retreated to the hills where he built the city of Udaipur. So, retreated means he was sent back, okay. Retreated means sent back. Okay, so after that war, Mewar war, he was sent back to his own place where he had built already a city called Udaipur. So, Uday Singh was sent back to his place, and then in 1576, Akbar brought Gujarat, Bengal and almost the entire Rajasthan under his control. So, after taking over the empire, within 20 years of time, he was able to almost cover all the North India, the entire North India. So, Gujarat, Bengal and almost entire Rajasthan was under his control. Many Rajput emperors from places like Jaisalmer and Bikaner surrendered to Akbar. So, many Rajput rulers, they were scared of Akbar to fight against him. So, they started to surrender themselves to him. Okay? So, they started surrendering, and then Uday Singh's son Maharana Pratap was not ready to surrender and he continued Mewar's fights against the Mughals. So, Rana Pratap was not ready to surrender. He was against Akbar, then he continued fighting against Akbar. Then what happened? Akbar conquered Kabul in 1581 and Kashmir in 1586. So, in an order, he was conquering all the places which were very near to him, which he was able to easily conquer. And then what happened? He expanded his empire in such a way that at the time of his death, okay, the Mughal empire extended throughout the North India and Central India and also some parts of Deccan and also in East India. So, almost the entire India he covered while he was alive, and at the time of his death, the entire North India, the Central India, some places of Deccan, that is in South India, and also in East India, everything were under Akbar's control. So, Akbar did not rely solely on his military to expand or consolidate his empire. That is, he was not completely dependent on his army. Okay, so he kept everything under his control. He was not dependent on anyone. Okay, so now we will see about the relationship maintained by Akbar with Rajputs. Okay, so after Rana Pratap Singh clash, okay, so there happened to be a very good relationship maintained by Akbar with Rajput. So we are going to see about that now. So Akbar realized that the support of valiant Rajput rulers is essential to expand and consolidate his empire. So Akbar understood that the Rajput warriors or the rulers were very much valiant. Valiant means they were bold and very much strong. Okay. So their support is required to expand his kingdom. So that is how he wanted to maintain a good relationship with Rajput. So he took many steps to maintain a good relationship with them, and he established ties of marriage relationship with Rajput kingdoms. So what happened? He arranged for marriage relationships with this Rajput. Like that he married, yes, so Akbar married Jodhabai. Jodhabai, who was a Rajput princess, and that is how he established a good relationship with Rajputs. Okay, he married Jodhabai. You would have heard this name, Jodha Akbar. Yes, so he married Jodhabai, and he could be able to maintain a good relationship with Rajputs. And then he appointed several Rajputs. See, he wanted to maintain the same relationship with them because they were very much strong enough to help Akbar in holding many places, right? So what he did, he appointed several Rajput nobles in higher ranks of administrative system. So he appointed several Rajput people in higher ranks of his administration. So many ministers he appointed from this Rajput people, and then he treated them with respect, and thereby he earned their loyalty. He earned their loyalty. What is meant by loyalty? They all believed in Akbar that yes, he is doing something good for us, so we should be loyal to them, we should be truthful to them. So that is how he maintained a very good relationship with his Rajput people. Now we are going to see about the religious policy as maintained by Akbar. Okay, so now we will see the policy of religious tolerance. So Akbar followed a policy of religious tolerance. What is meant by tolerance? He was not against any religion. He accepted all the religions as such. Okay, so he did not force anyone to come into Muslim religion, or he did not control anyone who wants to go to other religion. He was not against anybody. He respected all the religions, all the beliefs he respected. Okay, so he treated people of all faiths with respect, and he abolished jizya. Jizya is nothing but a tax. Okay, so this tax was imposed on the people who were non-Muslims. So this tax has to be paid by non-Muslim people who were living in a Muslim state or country. So tax paid by non-Muslims who lived in Muslim state. Right? So he abolished this practice. No, everyone has to be treated equally. No non-Muslim, no Muslim, no tax on non-Muslims. Right? Everyone has to be treated equally. That was his policy. He observed the religious festivals of all communities. So he was ready to accept all the religious festivals. Yes. Then he stopped the forced conversion of people to Islam. So previously people were forcefully converted to Islamic religion. So he stopped that practice. He said no, it should not be done. Right? Then Akbar also founded a new religion called Din-i-Ilahi, okay, which means divine faith. So his new religion, he founded a new religion called as Din-i-Ilahi, okay. So the new faith aimed to promote universal brotherhood. So everyone, all are human beings, everyone has to be treated equally. We are usually a brother and sister to each other. So that is how he developed the brotherhood, and he emphasized qualities like kindness, piety, prudence and abstinence. So kindness, we all know, being kind to people around us. Then piety, piety is nothing but devotion. We should believe in God, right? So he expected people to be devoted, but not against any other religion. He did not want anyone to be against any other religion. And then comes prudence. He wanted prudence. Prudence means he wanted people to be careful. He wanted people to be cautious. right? They should think before they act. That is how he wanted his people to be. And then abstinence. So he wanted everyone, like, they have to be treated equally, they have to behave properly, they should not treat anyone lower than the others. So that is how he wanted everyone to be treated. So he started, what was the religion he founded? Yes, it is Dinni Ilahi, okay, and the meaning of that is divine faith, right? Now, so to encourage, see, he again encouraged all these religious beliefs, okay. So to encourage this discussion of religion and philosophy, he started setting up Ibadat Khana, or the house of worship. So he set up a separate place for worship. In that place, anything that is related to religion or philosophy, the discussion can be done. That was called as Ibadat Khana, right? And he also established Maktab Khanas, or translation bureaus. So translation, he set up a separate place called as Maktab Khanas. So there, people were there to translate our Sanskrit verses or Sanskrit works like Ramayana, Mahabharata, Leelavati and Yoga Vasishtha. So all these are the treasures of our country, right? So these treasures, he wanted his people to learn in their language. So he set up these places for them to translate it in Persian language. Okay, so two places we have seen. One is Ibadat Khana, the place for worship. Then came this Maktab Khana, the place for translation. Right? Now, Akbar laid, now we are going to see the religious beliefs or the policy of religion by Akbar is over now. Now we are going to see about administration by Akbar. So Akbar laid a foundation of strong administrative system. So administrative system was very strong during the rule of Akbar because he had a very good control over the empire, and it was followed by all the later rulers. So after Akbar, whoever followed, many people followed his way. Okay, so he established different departments to look after the various aspects of administration, and some of the key features of Akbar's administration we are going to see now. So for each and every kind of work, he set up a separate department. So a group of people was set up for that department, and they took care about the works of that department, and then finally one person from there will report it to Akbar. So that is how he had a very good control over the administration of the empire. So the Mughals had So the Mughals had highly centralized form of administration. Centralized form is nothing but, we already know this word, central government, right? Which means the government which has control over the entire country. The same way, this is the centralized form of administration, which means the entire control wherever the empire can be. The empire would have spread throughout the country, but the entire control was there with Akbar. Okay, so all power lay in the hands of the emperor. The emperor was the head of both the military and administrative setup. So all the activities of military or the administration, it was under the control of Akbar. And then in discharging the administrative responsibilities, the emperor was aided by a cabinet. Cabinet is nothing but a group of ministers. Okay, cabinet is nothing but group of ministers. So while they have to take any important decision on administrative matters or even on military matters, this cabinet helped Akbar, right? Now, so this cabinet consisted of few important ministers. So now we are going to see who are all there. First comes Wazir. Wazir was the prime minister and also the chief advisor to the emperor. So he was the prime minister, so a very important minister of the country or the empire, and also he was the chief advisor to the king, right? Then comes Diwan. Diwan, the word itself is very clear that he is someone who is related with the finance and revenue. Okay, so he was the person who took over the control of the entire finance and the revenue of the country, that is the empire. Then the Mir Bakshi, okay, Mir Bakshi, he is the head of the military department and the paymaster of the army. So he took care of the entire army. So he was taking care of the military department as well as for anything that is related to army, he is responsible. So Wazir, Diwan, Mir Bakshi, Mir Saman, Khasi, Sadr. Okay, so first we will see Mir Saman then. Person in charge of the imperial household. So imperial household is nothing but the family of the ruler. Okay, so anything that is required for that family or anything that is related to the king's family, empire's family, that is even if it can be the family of ministers. Okay, so those works was taken care by this Mir Saman. Then Khasi. So he is the head of judicial department. So there was a separate department for judiciary also. And then comes Sadr, a person in charge of charitable and religious endowments. So charitable activities were going on, religious activities were going on. So all these were under the control of this person, Sadr. Okay, so these 6 people were very important ministers of Akbar's cabinet. Okay, Wazir, Diwan, Mir Bakshi, then Mir Saman, Khasi and Sadr. So these people were under the direct control of Akbar. See you in the next session with many more interesting topics about Akbar. Thank you children. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha.